Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I don't know how long of a video this is going to be. I planned on doing something different, but I've got a severe thunderstorm getting ready to move in. According to the radar, it's not huge, but it's dark red, and it's headed right for us. So we'll see how long I'll make it before I get blown away to Kansas. Wanted to just talk briefly about something that I worry. I try to keep myself in check as much as possible. We should all do that. That is a trait that every person should be doing throughout all life, right? It's not just about prepping. We should always try to kind of keep ourselves in check. Are we doing the right thing? Or, kind of do self-evaluations. And so I do that often, or at least I attempt to. And one of the things that I worry about in some of the content that I've been putting out is that I talk about the need for us to be Minutemen and women. It's you women that watch me. You're not going to get offended if I say Minutemen, and you all know I include you too in that. But we need to be Minutemen. We need to train in ways to defend our home, our lives, our sacred honor, our families, our community, right? And we need to have the equipment, basic equipment to do that. And I could make another video going into that kind of stuff. But I worry sometimes that because I know that some of you, you have no military background, no law enforcement background, no training. You've not sought any kind of professional trainer when it comes to firearms or tactics or anything like that. In fact, it's not that you're anti-gun. Most of you, I would say, hopefully all of you aren't, but I would say most of you aren't anti-gun. And it's not that. It's that you don't know much about guns. You don't know much about tactics. This concept of having to actually use a weapon against another human being is it's horrific. And you just don't want to do it. Well, you're not alone. Just because someone has experience and training doesn't mean that they're okay with using a weapon against someone. They just know that there may be times that they have to do that. And so the message that I want to give to you, to those of you, I don't want you to feel excluded. I don't want you to feel like, well, because of my age or because of a disability or because of just absolute lack of knowledge, that he's just not talking to me. Because I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. Let me tell you, from a homesteading perspective, from the professional citizen, we need to have at least some level. If you go back to where the Minutemen term actually came from, our founding fathers' era, the Revolutionary War, was in large part won due to the fact that we had Minutemen, that we had men that were just common, shopkeepers and farmers and blacksmiths and just tradesmen. They weren't men. Many of them weren't men that ever fought any kind of war. They never had any kind of training. They knew how to hunt. They knew how to garden. They knew how to keep the coyotes out of the chicken coop. But they weren't soldiers, right? They were citizens, and yet they stood up. And in large part, due to them, the America that we've known and come to love, it was won. That battle, that war was won because of them. And so don't discount the fact that you're not this great tactician. Don't discount the fact that you don't have the military experience. Don't leave that just to the folks that's, been in the military or that has spent money and time training in that. There is a place for that with everyone. It doesn't mean that you're going to be kicking doors in to rescue people or that you're going to be the frontline troops out there fighting off the bad guys. Everyone has a place when it comes to defense. Everyone has a place when it comes to protecting the people around you, protecting your family, protecting your community. Maybe you're the one that's providing the food for them because soldiers got to eat. Maybe you're the one that's taking care of their wounds because soldiers get injured. Maybe you're the one that is that last line of defense. Maybe you're an older fella and you're part of a little mag, part of a little community, and you tell yourself and you tell your mag that, you know, you're just not physically able to do that anymore. Like, your heart is there, you'll pass on knowledge and wisdom, but physically, you just can't do it. You can't go out and ruck, you know, miles, and you don't have the endurance, and that your heart is not in the condition to go out there and you know, do all the things that are physically demanding when it comes to combat, when it comes to any kind of defense. You may be that last line. If all the men in your mag are out there defending on the outer ring, or whatever, the outer perimeter of some kind of bad people, you may be there with the ladies, and you may be the last line of defense, and you stay and you hold that position until all the ammo and blood is gone. That's horrific, I know. That's a sad, sad thing to say. But these kind of situations have happened in human history. They've happened right here on this American soil, and they've happened in other countries where things have fallen apart, where bad people do really bad things. And the good guys don't always survive. It's an unfortunate thing. They don't always survive. But they can still be the good guys. They can still hold the line. They can still make a difference. And it may be your Alamo moment. Who knows? The point is that I'm trying to make is that you, all of you, have something to contribute. You all have something to offer. And you do need to, even though maybe you're the seamstress, maybe you're the herbalist, maybe you're the gardener, you know, maybe you're the teacher, whatever it is, you all need to wrap your head around the fact that there may come a time that bad things start to really happen, and your whole world just kind of gets upended. And you have to kind of start thinking like a soldier. Even though you're not out there on the front lines, you still need to start thinking like a soldier. And that's why I always encourage some level of training. You know, I've said this before, I've said it in our own group. You know, grandma may be in a wheelchair, or grandma may be sitting there in her chair with the walker, and she may not get around good. She may do great with teaching people how to can and live old ways and take care of children and pass on their knowledge. But she's not going to go out there and defend the property, you know. But you know what? Grandma can always have something in her apron, in her dress, you know. She can have something to defend, and she needs to know how to use it. And so everyone should have some basic working knowledge. You go back, you can look at movies and stuff. They kind of depict a good deal of this. But back on the old frontier, you know, Dad may have to go out and go hunting, or round up the cattle or something. It was just Mom and the children. She needed to know how to use that weapon. Was she really good at it? Not always, but she needed to know how to use it. And so don't think that this kind of stuff is just for the men. It's just for the soldiers, the vets, the things like that. You can all develop at least a certain level of training. There's material. I'm going to show this again. I have no business relationship with this book or this author, but I got it and I think it's really good. This is the book. You can go to the guy's website. I don't know that it's sold on Amazon. Maybe it is. I haven't checked. tpcproject.com. It is kind of like a military manual. It's based on a lot of military tactics, but it is written for the civilian. It is written in civilian terms, and so this is something. I've actually reached out to the author and going to eventually have him on the channel. He is working on other future books. This is manual one. I would encourage all of you, your little mag groups and stuff. Now here we have the rain. I would encourage you to get something like that and study it. It may not have to be your top priority, but it should be a priority for everyone. The children may not want to be out there on the front lines with guns, but they need to understand tactics. They need to understand that if something like that were to happen, what did they do? Where did they go? What's their job? Where did they run to? These kind of things need to be worked out. They are things that no one wants to think about. No one. And even for you folks that are vets that's gone off into combat, it's a different world with this. You're not just worrying about your fellow soldiers, your brothers in arms. You're worrying about your wife and your children. It's a little different scenario. And so we need to be thinking about that and training and planning for it. Not necessarily because it is going to happen, but because it could happen. And it's far, far too late to worry about it once it's already started. And we have watched, you have watched, I have watched many other countries, and we look throughout history and we see it over and over and over again. When societies start to come unraveled, we see the violence and we see the bad things start to uptick. We've got a lot of illegals pouring across the country. We've got a lot of Americans that absolutely just hate people and they're wanting to do violence. We've got a government that's completely out of control and Big Brother. And we've got foreign governments that are just faunching at the bit to just come in here and take us over. So you need to be getting ready, getting your houses in order, working on your teams, your mags, your tribes, your crew, whatever it is, to get them ready for the coming storm. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.